Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. Can you imagine what it must feel like to fight for your life every day on the streets of the area that you live and grow up in? For some people, they just don't understand it. They've never understood gang culture and gang violence. And in this first story of today's episode, this young man, Lewis Johnson, who has just passed away in East Croydon, rest in peace, was actually attacked earlier on in the same day. His friend was stabbed in the hand during this attack. The paper that initially was at the scene and also reported on it was My London, and that is who I'm going to be referencing, and also thanking them as well. They're the only paper that's ever gave me credit for any story I've ever done that they've took that I have broke, but they actually credited me. The story goes, a boy of 16 was stabbed to death during rush hour traffic at the busy train station. He was killed in a violent and frenzied attack that lasted 40 seconds. Lewis Johnson died within minutes of entering East Croydon station at around 4:30 on Monday after entering the Ruskin Square ticket barrier. He was met by someone who immediately pulled out a knife, which was described as a machete, so it could be a machete, a zombie knife, a Rambo knife. Emergency services were called at 4:45, so this was peak rush hour traffic. There would have been a lot of people around. A witness said, someone walked past me with a machete after the attack and walked up to East Croydon station. I reached the top of the stairs and there was blood everywhere. The lad was slumped by the ticket office by the barriers. It didn't look good and the security staff were there. Blood covered the platform. The detective chief inspector of the police said this was a senseless killing at a busy time of day. My thoughts are with the kid's family. And I've spoken to people that knew him, people that know the family, and also things have arisen since then where they have revealed he was involved with a youth offending team. They were trying to intervene in his life. I think he had mentioned he had some involvement in gangs, and his friends told the newspaper that he was told by the youth offending team to be home by 6 o'clock and he would be given a £50 Tesco voucher as like a sort of incentive for him. And he was meant to have got a taxi, but he decided to get the train. Maybe this was to save a couple of pounds, because you're talking about 16-year-old kids. No matter what you're seeing on Instagram and on live with all the money they're showing off, these are still children. They still are dependent in some way, most of them, on their mums and dads. Even though the attacker was seen leaving the scene, no arrests have been made yet. So I want to send my condolences to the family of Lewis Johnson, and I'll definitely keep you updated on anything to do with that case. And in this next story, Daniel Ayabusi, who was convicted of fraud, online fraud, and he was also involved in county lines. He was jailed for 5 years. He comes from Leicester, and the thing with this case is that he documented himself very well.
We tell everybody there's light work.
Come on.
Light work, look,
Come on.
The wrist, light work. With
Light work.
Right here, that's light work.
Quick 20. Quick 20 quid.
Light work.
Come on.
Jumping, light
Come
work.
on. Really hitting numbers.
Light work. Yo! My phone!
My man's phone still. You know what I mean? Trap's all jumpy.
Splash that cash, nigga. Huh? Tell him don't spend the re-up, man. Stop.
Could've just stayed in school, but I was too fast catching fiends. I could've been kicking ball, how I end up drug trafficking. I could've got nicked for broski's work, and that was a mazzoline. I could've been poor like them.
I thought you was leaving me. I thought I was never gonna see you again.
He admitted never working a day in his life, and he colluded with online hackers in the UK and abroad to launder money. Have you ever seen them ones on Facebook or Instagram where they're saying, follow me and I'll send money to your account, we'll get you loads of money really quickly, no questions asked, etc, etc. That's what he was doing. He was one of them sort of guys, but he used to post videos showing large amounts of money. These videos ended up being used against him in a court of law. He was on trial for 5 separate counts of money laundering, totaling £41,000. He was also arrested for Class A drugs, crack cocaine, and Class B drugs, cannabis, when they raided his property after his arrest. He pleaded guilty to 3 counts of money laundering, but denied some others which he did get away with. During the trial, the court heard that prior to his arrest, he was investigated by the Metropolitan Police Cyber Crime Unit for the money laundering offences. Daniel was stopped by officers officers in Colchester and was found to be in possession of 49 rocks of crack cocaine. When he was in custody, the Met officers were investigating him for the cyber crimes. They were able to gain access to his mobile phone that was controlled by him. This contained evidence to illustrate his involvement in county lines and the supply of drugs. The court further heard that in April 2018, a Facebook account under a fake name, which was actually connected to him, was being used to advertise compromised online accounts with usernames and passwords. So he was selling other people's data via the biggest data site in the world. And they described the crime as phishing. The Facebook account was identified by the Cyber Defense Alliance in 2018, who subsequently provided intelligence about the activities of this account. Further investigations revealed that the Facebook account had opened in 2015 and contained requests for bank accounts and credit card details to use in fraud. The Facebook profile contained photos of compromised bank accounts, plus videos of cash, expensive clothing and watches. Daniel would use these posts to attract other young kids and teenagers and young people to use the bank accounts to transfer the money, to launder it literally. A covert operation was set up by the investigation team. It was called Operation Katoto, and the variety of proactive investigative techniques that were used to actually track him and convict him. They identified a number of posts that they connected to real victims of fraud. They believed that Daniel may have stole hundreds of identities and also used hundreds of bank accounts, not just the ones that they convicted him for. They found large amounts of cannabis and electronic weighing scales. They also found large number of plastic tubes that contain cannabis, and evidence recovered of Daniel that he was involved in the organised supply of cannabis, which led to him being found guilty for possession of a Class B drug. He was taken into custody and charged on the 26th of June last year with 8 counts of money laundering, all of which were cyber-related fraud against members of the public who had online banking accounts. Possession with intent to supply Class A drugs also during the Essex investigation. So this shows that he actually had so many different avenues that he was getting money from, and that one avenue got discovered, and then that brought down the whole domino effect after that, because as soon as they found the 50 rocks of crack cocaine, they then discovered the money laundering and everything else that came with it. So when you see someone online that looks like they're making more money than is possible sometimes, it's because probably most of the time it's true. So I really want to hear what people have to say on this, so please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, and don't forget you can join Scarcity now for as little as $1.99 a month to help support the channel and get a little bit extra as well. Thank you, peace.